We follow the Dan Patrick Show every single day on NBC Sports Audio, SiriusXM Channel 211, and right here on Peacock, which is free. You go to peacocktv.com and get it. And the It is NBC Sports Channel. And my buddy Dan Patrick of the Dan Patrick Show and more back here on the show. How you been, DP?
I'm good. Rich. How are you?
I am better for hearing your voice. I am better for hearing your voice. So let's, I don't know, what do you decide about what you're talking about these days? This is helpful to me and the crew here as well, Dan. After 7 years, we're sitting here right in the middle of May. It seems like we're sitting around waiting for Aaron Rodgers to talk while the NBA begins. What do you and the Danettes hash around to figure out this is what we're going to talk about on the show today?
I just sort of take the temperature of everybody and just say, tell me what you're really interested in, because ultimately, it's a democracy until it's a dictatorship. It's a democracy when we start the morning, and then it becomes a dictatorship where I have to do it.
Yes.
But they understand this. Make your case. Tell me what you're interested in. What guest are we going to go after? And we have a back and forth throughout the day from now until tomorrow morning, and then we'll come in tomorrow morning, and then we sort of hit the reset button and figure out, do we have any more information on Deshaun Watson? Do we have any more information on Aaron Rodgers? LeBron says that he's not given respect as one of the great scorers of all time. You have the play-in game with Golden State. Ron Wolf, the Hall of Fame GM, formerly of the Packers, calling quarterbacks now divas. You just sort of cobble it together and you go, okay, do we have sound? Do we have a guest? And how do we make this work, usually for 7 to 10 minutes, as long as this segment might be.
Well, the problem I have with, and I know Ron Wolf's in the Hall of Fame and so is Terry Bradshaw, but when you choose a quarterback in the first round and trade up to go get a quarterback in the first round in 2020, under the current construct of building a roster in the NFL and the current collective bargaining agreement of the NFL, under which Ron Wolf never built a team and Terry Bradshaw never played it down, that when you do that, you have to put that kid on the field. You have to put that kid on the field by year 3. Otherwise, you are making a huge financial bet on the kid's future for a 5th-year option pickup that will hamstring your team with a guy that you don't know if it's worthy or not. And we're already seeing a team like, the Rams and Philadelphia sign their quarterback who they drafted to a 9-figure deal and then have to make a big deal out of getting out of it. Rodgers has every right to say something, Dan, in my estimate. It doesn't make him a diva. It makes him smart to try and move his chess pieces around the board. I wonder what you think.
But I don't know what makes you a diva, because Russell Wilson wanted to have a seat at the table. And here, understand when Pete Carroll got to Seattle, didn't do well his first couple of years. Then they draft Russell Wilson. Russ has cleaned up a lot of mistakes in Seattle because they've had some bad drafts. And I would think that Russ has earned that right to at least sit at the table. That doesn't mean that he has the final say-so or total autonomy. But I am curious, the guy who's going to be sacked more than any other quarterback in history would like to talk about the offensive line or offensive strategy. Okay, I'll give you a seat at the table. If Aaron Rodgers wants to talk about what is our philosophy, are we a run-first type offense? What kind of players are we going after? Give him a heads up if you're going to draft his replacement.
Yes.
Like that, I don't think that. We're not asking too much. Everybody thinks, "Oh my God, Tom Brady's running the Buccaneers." Tom brought in Gronk and Antonio Brown. It's not like he said, "Let me work out Tristan Wirfs at offensive tackle." And I think that even Mahomes is Mahomes saying, "Hey, you got to get me what offensive line help." You don't need a seat at the table for us to know we need to get you offensive line help, wide receivers, or whatever it might be. I don't know if quarterbacks, how much of a say should they have? Now, do I want to give Deshaun Watson say on who we should bring in to interview? Not particularly, but I'll listen to his suggestion. I'm not going to let him say, hey, we're going to hire that guy or I don't want to play here. Then he's gone too far. But Ron Wolf, what is a diva to him? This is a new NFL. Back then, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you did shut up and just play. But if Dan Marino's playing now, Joe Montana's playing, how would Joe Montana have handled Steve Young coming to the Niners?
Right. I mean, and he's obviously, prior to Brady winning 7, the gold standard for quarterbacks, along with Bradshaw too, in terms of the number of Super Bowls that they won, Dan. And so again, to sit here and say,
how would Bradshaw have done if they brought in Dan Marino?
Well, he pointed out that they drafted Mark Malone in the first round in 1980, and Bradshaw was still in his late 20s, or he just turned 30, and of course he had all those trophies in the case, and he's like, well, I didn't pay any attention to him, and the reason why you didn't have to is the financial construct of the league was not set up in such a way where it was essentially mandated that Malone get on the field, regardless of whether he deserved it or not, regardless of Bradshaw's play or not. That Jordan Love, and Rodgers knows it, is going to have to get on the field in order for that first-round selection to be paid off in any way, shape, or form, whether it's for the guy for the future or to turn him into Jimmy G. And at least Jimmy G got on the field so the Niners knew that he was worth it too. You know, like that's why Rodgers is saying something right now, and I don't think that's diva.
The Packers bet, and it looks like they lost on 2 fronts. They bet on Jordan Love, and they bet that Aaron Rodgers, they bet against Aaron Rodgers, and they bet on Jordan Love. And it looks like they're losing both of those bets. Jordan Love is not ready, and Aaron Rodgers won the MVP. And I think they thought, hey, his numbers are starting to diminish, and this will be the last year. I truly thought they thought that this was going to be his last year this past season, and that Jordan Love would then be elevated, to the starter's role, or at least he'd be in the on-deck circle. There's no reason to draft a first-round quarterback if you can't take advantage of how much you don't have to pay him. Because after this, look at Sam Darnold in Carolina. If he has a good year, what are you doing with Sam Darnold? Now all of a sudden I got to go, is he worth $100 million? If I franchise him, is he worth $35 million? That's why Carolina, unless they think they're getting Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers, should have taken Justin Fields, in my opinion.
Dan Patrick here on the Rich Eisen Show. And, again, that's the new construct of the NFL where the owners said, we're sick and tired of paying a kid out of college the most money in the history of our franchise. There's no other business in America who does it. Like, there's no law firm that takes the top legal scholar out of Harvard and makes him or her the highest paid lawyer in the history of some Wall Street firm. You know what I mean? Like, so they wanted to at least see something on the field before they had to make that financial commitment to somebody. And now, as you just pointed out, that there are some teams that have done that, and the Eagles and the Rams, and now they're out of that. And so when you're having people on your show as much as you are, and cobbling together from news and information, men and women and players and coaches, about what is the crux of the Rodgers situation and how fixable is it? What do you is going to happen with this, DP?
My issue is that we haven't heard from anybody who is, confirming, validating any of this. I take Adam Schefter at his word that Aaron Rodgers wants out. Okay, but I haven't heard from Aaron, and I haven't heard from the Packers other than to say we're not trading him. I know the Rams inquired. I know the Niners inquired, and I think they were just doing their due diligence. But is he steadfast? He'll never play for the Packers again. Deshaun Watson said that. Look, I'm not playing here again. And that, of course, might be the case for a variety of reasons now. But
right.
Until then, it's really hard to sort through this. And as you know, I spent 18 years at ESPN, where you had to have 2 sources all the time when you're going to, give information. And if you speculate, just by speculating, I put my name to it. Therefore, it becomes a report. Like, it's not just, hey, I think this may happen. Dan Patrick reporting that, Aaron Rodgers is going to stay. Like, I never want to get into that gray area because people are so hungry for information. And they're going to take, and all of a sudden a rumor, innuendo, or a whisper, or I'm hearing, becomes more fact. And I don't have any facts when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. And I feel like I do a disservice to the story every time I do the story because I really don't have an update. Hey, I'm hearing Denver would offer this, or the Raiders have they offered that? No. but I'm hearing they would. I'm hearing that Aaron would like to go to Vegas. Okay, until Aaron says I want to go to Vegas, I can't believe that. So you're sorting through it, and it just feels like I know less every time I do the story.
No, I know. We've been equating it to that Seinfeld episode where his girlfriend looks beautiful in one light, and then in the next light, just not as pretty. And so when it comes down to it, the NFL schedule makers are full speed ahead. They put the Packers on a nationally televised game, essentially, for the first 4 weeks. So we're going to have a front row seat to this whole business, and I'm just assuming that the Packers are not going to budge because that's their history, and Rodgers won't budge, and that's their history. And you might see. I don't know what the answer is. Do they send him a bouquet? Is it like we're really, really sorry for drafting Jordan Love? I mean, because that's the potentially unfixable part about this whole deal.
But I would have traded Aaron Rodgers. I can't let one player, as great as he is, I can't let him hold us captive here. If we've bet on Jordan Love, then let's take advantage of that situation and see if he can play. It's unfortunate you have a NFC powerhouse here, a Super Bowl contender. But if I would have thought about this earlier, I would have gone back to I would have gone to the Niners and said, before you trade all of these picks to Miami to move up to 3, send all of that and Jimmy G to Green Bay. Now I can have a transition that's not going to be painful, that if Jimmy G plays 1 year and then we say goodbye, Jordan Love, we get 2 years out of him, and then I get all these draft picks here. Jimmy Garoppolo is a serviceable quarterback with a really good roster that you can still compete. That's where I would have gone with this. Rodgers is never going to be more valuable than he is right now. And as much as it would pain me to get rid of him or be the GM to say, yep, I traded Aaron Rodgers, if you had traded him prior to an MVP season, then I think people would have had a little bit more of a problem. And another thing, Rich, if Aaron Rodgers scores that touchdown against Tampa Bay,
yes,
is he still upset or not as upset if they go to the Super? Like I don't know how it just I don't know. It just feels like there's some gray area here.
Well, taking the two things you just said, Dan Patrick Show, we follow his show, the Emmy-nominated Dan Patrick Show, every single day here on NBC Sports on Peacock and NBC Sports Audio 211. That's my reset to show how much of a professional I am to Dan. That the two things you just said there. Number one is if you are correct that the Packers do what you just said, and I think that that's a smart decision, then, the cap ramifications of trading him back when the Niners might have knocked on their door instead of trading all that to Miami or on draft day would have been so harmful, certainly in the contracted cap year after COVID, when we're still in it. It just could not have happened then. So I would say June 1 will be, as the kids say, lit if that happens, because that's when somebody like the Dolphins with their draft choices might be able to go and get Aaron Rodgers or even Deshaun Watson if he's a viable quarterback, in the NFL and also a citizen of the world, or anybody. The Broncos could do something like that as well. So that will be June 1 to take a look at that. And then in terms of losing to Brady, I think for sure that Brady winning in his house and beating him in that manner after they've dressed up the window of opportunity remaining in his career, just fresh to the team, is what's really pissing Aaron Rodgers off even more. I think so, Dan.
Yeah, but Aaron had the home game. Like he had the title game in his backyard. You got to win these games. And I can look at play calling, but Aaron didn't handle that last drive well. And I do think they've helped him with that roster. I mean, let's be honest. They haven't spent their first-round picks on skill position or offensive players. But their second, third-round picks, they've done really well. I mean, Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, they've found receivers. Now you can say, does Rodgers make them better? Yes, he does. But their offensive line is good.
Aaron Jones too. They kept Aaron Jones.
Brady didn't have any. Aaron Jones. Brady didn't have any first-round skill position players for how many years? 16 years. He won all those Super Bowls. Now, did he want it? Yes. Did they have an offensive line that they would just bring guys in? Yes. Were they, converting a quarterback to a wide receiver? Yes, they did that. Did they get a couple of really good tight ends, or certainly with Gronk? Yes, they did. Gronk was a second-round pick. But Brady did it, and, they did find players. And I think with Aaron, we tend to look at that roster and go, man, he's done a whole lot with nothing. They do have some good players and a good offensive line and some good skill position players. So I think they've done right by him. They just owed him a heads up just to say, that's all. Just say, look, if this player is there, we just want you to know that we really like him and he's, long term, whatever it is. You may not like it, but if you at least know about it, then they've thought about you. And and he should understand this. They did this to Brett Favre when he was there. So he should understand it. I just think he deserved a heads up by the front office. Before I let you go, Dan Patrick, what do you think of the play-in tournament? You like it? Yeah. You do? Yeah. Okay. Well, here's the thing. If we didn't have, by the way, it's the State Farm play-in tournament. Oh, jeez. I'm going to get a pen. I need to get a pen. My bad. Dan, I apologize to the insurance industry. My God, writ large. Don't let that happen again. Yes. I like the play-in, but if you didn't have the Lakers against Golden State, then I don't think anybody would really care about the play-in tournament. But you have LeBron and Steph tomorrow night. Therefore, we're like, yeah, I like this. I like this matchup here. If it's the Wizards against the Celtics, it's the Hornets against the Pacers, nobody cares. The Grizzlies against the Spurs, nobody cares. But you got LeBron against Steph, and everybody thinks the play-in tournament is awesome. So I think this year it's awesome. Let's see what happens next year, because I don't think you're going to have this perfect storm where all the injuries and you're a 7 seed and you're going to hook up with a guy who's been incredible in Steph Curry. It might be a nondescript, Final Four or front four or whatever the play-in tournament is next year, and we won't get as much excitement or headlines out of it. All right, and I lied before I let you go. Now, for real, one of the many things that we do here on this show that was taken from yours when we were born on Audience Channel is the poll question, which went from being online on a website now on Twitter. So ask Dan Patrick the poll question before we get out of Dodge here with Dan. Dan, real quick, who most needs to be freed from their current team? Aaron Rodgers, Zion Williamson, Shohei Ohtani. What do you think? I think Rodgers, because it's uncomfortable for both sides. It feels like, whereas Zion, make good of it for as long as you can. I mean, and Shohei Ohtani, would I like to see him on a bigger stage? Yes. I think he may look. And I'd have to go back. I think he may have chosen the Angels because it wasn't as big a stage as if he'd gone to the Yankees or the Dodgers. So that might suit his personality a little bit more. He's got a great manager to play for. Would I like to see Zion on a big stage, a nightly basis? Yes, I would. But I would like to see if he can make it work in New Orleans. Because when you get all of these players and then nobody cares about the secondary markets here, I just don't think it's great for the sport. So I would say Rodgers, because both teams, it feels like, could benefit from moving on. DP, appreciate the time. I miss talking to you. So I'd love to do this as often as you'd like. And I don't know how often Dan Bickley's on your program, but I mean I'm up for calling into yours, Dan. If you're up for that, Dan. Well, that would be great. That doesn't sound. That doesn't sound like you mean that, and I'm being genuine calling into your show. Okay. Well, I didn't know if it was as often as I like or as often as you like, so I was just trying to figure that out. Well, as often as I'd like, which is tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow, Dan? What are you doing tomorrow? What am I doing tomorrow. Well, we're cobbling together stories right now and trying to figure out what we're going to do.
Oh.
Didn't you listen to me when we started the interview of how this works?
Yeah, I did. So I'm here to put that together.
But I got Fritzy. Like Fritzy, he's in scramble mode, always looking, seeing what storylines there are, and if Fritzy decides that he wants Rich Eisen on the show, then Rich Eisen's on the show.
Oh, but you're the dictator. Hey, did Brockman? Did the Danettes want to fight us?
Dan, what's going on? Do you guys want to throw down or something?
On the after show that the Danettes are putting together, they said they want to fight us? Is that true?
Well, we were talking about Floyd Mayweather fighting
Jake
Logan Paul?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
And then we thought, okay, who would we fight in a celebrity match? And Fritzy said the situation. Paulie said that guy who put on the Fire Festival.
Billy McFarland.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Billy McLovin said that he would fight Stu Gatz from the Dan Levitard show.
All right.
I'd pay for that one.
And then Seton said that he was going to fight Del Tufo. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He never did. I mean, it was just Del Tufo. Like I would, if I had to fight you on the undercard, I would do it. But I wasn't calling for that.
No, I understand because I understand. I would be in your mind, certainly the Jake Paul of that scenario, and I don't know if I'm not.
No, I didn't want to do that. I mean, I'm just saying that your name came up only by proxy because Seton wanted to kick Del Tufo's ass.
Okay.
I'm training, Dan.
He's a lover, not a fighter. So are we, too.
Well, I have seen you with your pants off. So.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
You guys might want to go to break here.
Thank you, Dan. You take care.
All right, buddy. Bye.
All right, bud. There you go. There's Dan Patrick, everybody. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.